Hello and welcome to Comfortable Shoe Stew. This is another episode of art making. This is more of a tips and tricks episode. A couple of episodes back, or quite a few, I think it's been a couple of months, I reviewed the Y++ travel palette, and I didn't give it a very good review because of the watercolors in it. But the palette itself is fantastic. And in use, it's great. So this one, I've done a couple of hacks to it that I'll talk about in a second. I did pry out that terrible purple color and put in some burnt sienna or sepia. I put sepia in there, and that has like transformed this palette into something that is much more useful to me. So let's talk about the two hacks. The first hack is I took the lid off. It does pop off pretty easily like that. And I then taped it off and I spray painted the inside of it with a white enamel spray paint. Worked great, and as you can see, I've got a nice big mixing area. So that, and then it pops right back on. So the other hack is the Y++ palette comes with this little thin disc of stick-on steel so that it will attach to a magnet while you're working. Well, I found that that piece of steel was not strong enough to hold the palette in place. The glue was great, but the steel there wasn't enough there. So this is a fender washer. It's a 1-inch fender. I think it's a 1-inch. Maybe it's a 1/2 inch. Anyway, it's a fender washer. You can pick up any fender washer size. This size worked really well for me. It is very sturdy. And then I've just super glued that on to the back of the paint wells so that when I am out painting, I can take this little magnet, stick it right to that piece of steel, and it stays put pretty well. I've got a bunch of these little magnets, and it stays put. So this is from the Dollar Tree office section. You get a 2-pack for $1.25. So these are really nice. So those are the two hacks. Now a tip. I picked up this set, and I picked it up because it's got this sleeve that the whole thing stores in. I've done the same hack to this one that I've done to that. It's the same fender washer. I sanded the fender washer down so that it would adhere really well, and then I used super glue to attach it. I would use super glue or something like E6000 that has a really high bond instead of something like hot glue that will eventually give up. So yeah, so that just stays put, but then it's got this water cup, this sleeve. So the sleeve pops right on to the side of the palette like so. Check that out. So you've got a place to wash out your brushes now. And for this one, I wanted to put my professional colors in here. I didn't want to use the same kids grade, high-end kids grade, low grade, student grade paints that came in the set. So what I did was first I tried prying out as many of them as I could, and 3 or 4 of them popped out pretty readily. But there's a rubber-based glue that actually feels a lot like E6000. And that just holds in there really, really well. And so it doesn't, there's a lot of glue in these holding the little tabs of watercolor in there, so they don't pop out well. And if you use too much oomph, you end up damaging the plastic like I did here. You can see it's kind of whited. And that's just because I've stressed the plastic out. And to get them out, this is rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. I literally just sprayed the whole palette down with the watercolors in there. And what ended up happening is that rubberized glue that was under there started to get soft and sticky. And with that, I was able to take I have this little teeny tiny knife. It's a Spyderco Bug. I like to open packages with it and stuff. And I was able to just slide that beside each of those watercolors and pop them up pretty easily. And then I used a bunch of, there's still a little bit of glue residue in there. Let's see. There's some more glue residue. I didn't want the glue. I don't really want the glue residue hanging around. There's a little bit more. It gets a little funky, and I don't want that in the colors. So yeah, there's a little bit more in there. Anyhow, I dug out I was able to easily remove almost all of the watercolors with ease once I let it sit. Now, I'm not the most patient person in the whole world, so I got a little, I kept trying and trying and trying, and really, I went and cooked cooked dinner, and then I came back and it was able to pop out. It just needed some time for the alcohol to do its job and soften that glue. And then I just went in with Q-tips and cleaned up the glue that was in there, and that didn't take hardly any time. So you just got to go in there and clean out all that glue residue, and you've got a nice, empty, really convenient palette for watercolors with a nice, solid piece of steel on the back that's nice and magnetic, and will let you very easily carry your watercolors right in your pocket. This is a great pocket-sized palette. So I'm going to fill this with 9 colors, which is a great amount of colors, way more than I usually carry. I've been stuck on a CMYK kick for a while, and I'm looking forward to getting some en plein air in and painting on location. And yeah, so it's just thought I'd share with you how I got the paints out much more easily than just trying to pry them out. And it's a relatively painless process if you are patient, more patient than I am. So I'll put a link to both of these down in the description below. This one was a little more pricey because it came bundled with a little 100% cotton watercolor sketchbook, 2 travel brushes, and then this pan of gold paint, which, I don't really need nor want this, but I'm going to use it in some of my sketches. But the watercolor brushes are quite nice, and then the sketchbook is actually really, really quite nice. So I'm looking forward to using all of this stuff. Oh, I didn't notice that it was perforated. That's okay. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. Hope it helps you in your journey with these little inexpensive watercolor palettes and that you enjoy them. So anyway, thanks, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, and bye.